Ladies and gentlemen, the Steam Power Giraffe Power Hour, starring Brian Barbarian, David Astronaut,
come in, Houston.
and Bunny. So nice, you say it thrice. It's Steam Power Giraffe's Bennettarium wacky doodly doo.
Wait, this.
Thank you, Lily. It's a podcast from Steam Power Giraffe. It's the
Bennettarium. See, I can sync up with
We've
Bunny.
got no special guests on today. Hey, on the Bennettarium. Oh boy, it's the Bennettarium. And it's starting right now.
That was Bunny Bennett live from not the same place that I am, and Brian's a little closer, and that's
not close enough.
That kind of works. But if anyone is wondering why my voice is so crystal clear, it's because everyone else is on Discord. I'm on Discord too, so I don't sound as good to them. But you guys are you at home listening are getting my full voice.
You only getting a little bit of this voice.
Yeah, it's a little crunchy.
Look
Can you imagine?
Nice microphone. Look at this nice microphone. It's if I was recording locally, it would sound so warm and so good.
They couldn't handle your full range.
Hey,
There's too much. Too much goodness.
We could take the time, and you guys could record locally at the same time. Send me those audio files, and I could sync them up. But that wouldn't be worth it, and not. we got music to work on.
Let's give it a try.
No, I don't want it.
The Bennettarium fan base doesn't get this special treatment. Look,
we would if this was a popular podcast. We would, but I see the numbers. No one's listening to this. I mean, thankful for the few dozen that are, but like. This is the
nobody's rule.
This is the effort that you're gonna get, and yes, I know it's probably like, well, you got to make the podcast, put the quality in that you want to see and expect, and I'm like, yeah, well, no, we have other work to do.
I found a loophole. It's still a lot of work, but it's not as much work. All right, so you take all the video and then you dub it over with your voices doing our voices.
You just do your voice. Do our voices.
Okay, I'm not gonna do any character voices because that'd be offensive. So
no,
I don't know. I'd like to hear some.
I don't want to.
What do you think we sound like?
I'd like to hear you do your woman voice and your black man voice.
I don't want.
Bunny Bennett.
Why am I the one doing this?
And then say you, and then say Brian.
Okay. Okay. So start lip syncing.
Okay.
Hi, my name's Brian Barbarian. And I am in Steam Power Giraffe. I play Zero, and I'm very, very talented. And the other band members know it, and it's pretty much in the contracts that they have to say it at least 5 times a day to me. Thank you. And now I'm moving the spotlight over to my co-host of the Power Hour, Isabella Bunny Bennett. Hi, my name is Brian Barbarian, by the way. Oh, I got you. Just in case you forgot.
I lip sync.
Yeah. Okay, you're tired. You know what? This only works for people who aren't listening to the audio, so this can't be the intro. And you were lip syncing to that, so now because now we have to do a second. Now we have to do an actual start for the Bennettarium after this because any video jokes don't work for the audio.
There wasn't that many video jokes.
That's pretty logical, Bunny. I'm glad you said that.
we explained.
Okay. Well, now this is part of the bit then. Anyways, so we should just. I think. Are we done with that bit? Is we done with that?
I think so.
Okay. Well, thanks for joining us on this podcast. This every other month podcast. What do you call a podcast that takes place every other month?
Bi-monthly.
But bi-monthly sounds like 2 times a month.
It does.
I think we've had this conversation before a long time ago, and
fortnightly.
And technically, it means both. But
we need an English major or a scientist. Maybe both.
No, because bi-monthly would be fortnightly. It was like
14 days,
depending on the month.
Mm-hmm.
There's a word for it. It's somewhere in the English language.
But anyways, and you can actually watch the video of this live stream well, it's not. It's a live stream, but it's also a podcast. We're recording it too on our Patreon. If you're a $5 patron or higher, something we do every other month. We started off this podcast doing once a week, but then we realized we don't have much to talk about in once a week, and we don't have the time to put in once a week. So then we put it to like once a month.
We used to have the time back when we first started. We were like, let's dedicate some time to this because we probably didn't have a lot going on or something.
Yeah, I think it was like after we just released Quintessential and stuff, I think, and we were just kind of like making the transition to whatever the next project was working on. But anyways, we don't have to worry about that now because now we've given ourselves lots of time to work on other projects. And it seems about every other month is enough time to update people. Otherwise, we'll just be talking about video games and stuff, which we could, I suppose, every week anyways. But there's enough podcasts out there doing that. So without any further ado, it's time for the Game Zone. Game Zone, Game Zone, Game Zone, Game Zone, Game Zone, Cal Zone, Game Zone, Game Zone, Game Zone with David Michael Bennett. The Game Zone. Hi, David Michael Bennett here, and now we're going to talk about my favorite topic.
Hi, it's me,
games.
Isabella Bennett, and I'm also in the Game Zone.
Actually, this is my segment. I didn't know if you guys knew,
what?
but this is like if you guys want to talk about video games, we can go to your guys' video game segments. But the Game Zone see if you listen to the song again, jigga 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 jigga, Game Zone, Game Zone, Game Zone, Cal Zone, Game Zone, Game Zone, Game Zone.
Do I have to remember the song?
With David Michael Bennett. Game Zone. I mean, it's out of order.
I don't know if I can remember all those lyrics though.
No. You have
think about it.
What? You can't steal my theme song. You have to have your own.
Why
theme
not?
Song.
Oh, we make our own theme song.
Why not? What a Burger King and McDonald's. The same theme song,
now
right?
we're going over to Brian Barbron. So we're I haven't talked much in the Game Zone, but we're passing the torch to Brian Barbron with the Game Minute.
Oh, it's the Game Minute. There's only a minute to talk about your favorite games. Not enough time, but we're gonna try it. A lot of my games are pretty much the same. They're open world games. I like to play open world games a lot because then they're giving a lot of opportunity to kind of pause things. I like to explore things in a timely fashion. I don't like to be rushed. And when people are online, they stress me out. So I just like to play the open world games, and I can pause them every once in a while so that I can go get snacks. And sometimes the snacks aren't there, so I have to go all the way to the store. And if I have to go to the store, well, it's going to take much longer. This is why I have to play the open world games in the first place. This is what I'm
sorry, Brian. I'm sorry, Brian, but your theme song counted as your minute into your minute. So
it's never enough time.
And now we pass the torch over to Bunny Bennett with the game area. So
welcome to the game area zone. Now we have a short and concise theme song because we know what the kids really want to hear is what's new with Master Chief, and it's now time for our Master Chief moment. Master Chief, are you there? Master Chief?
What happened?
Oh, hi, Master Chief. Did you ever fix the Halo?
You know, I've been working on that Halo for at least 6-7 games, and
did you finally destroy the aliens that were attacking us?
Sure, why not? Me and Doom Guy went in there, handled the whole situation real quick like.
Nice. Got
out of there, lickety split. Halo 8, coming to you soon. Xbox 360. I mean, Xbox 800.
I mean, it looks like it's from Xbox 360.
Yes, it looks the graphics of Xbox 360 with the heart of Saturn Dreamcast.
Shout out to Digital Foundry for tearing apart Halo 5 reveal. Oh yeah, so good to see all those crappy graphics like torn apart. I'm like, not that whatever. You're a big studio. We aren't gonna feel bad that your game looked like crap.
No,
it's okay. I'm sure it's fun. But yeah, obviously, when people think next gen,
how many Halos have you played? How many Halos do for you?
I
have such a strong opinion.
Within the last few years, tried to play all of them because they all came out on PC, except for...
Really?
So I played up to 3, and I did some of the other ones too. So I didn't play 4, obviously, but I played some of the other ones, and I kind of stopped at...
That's good about a Halo.
I stopped at ODST or something like that.
I played one match with a sword.
I'll be honest, I'm not a Halo fan. I tried my best.
I played the first one, and I got like halfway through the second one. That's it.
I have listened to Beyonce's Halo.
I have a knock on my door. I don't know if it's important, so I'm gonna
Really?
I'm gonna actually get up
You
from
think
the
it's the police?
podcast and just go.
You think it's the police?
No, it's probably
Right.
like a package or something. But
Well, this has been a great game area zone, and now we go on to the movie vine.
Oh, anyone see any good movies recently? No.
No, because I didn't. Well, did I watch anything recently? No, I really haven't.
No. This is no. Yeah. I haven't seen a movie. Looked at. I've watched old movies, but I just haven't had any desire.
I'm watching horror movies.
Oh yeah, because 'tis the season. I'm on Army of Darkness right now. I'm on Army of Darkness 2, and now we're gonna move on. Maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow. I don't know. I don't know if there's gonna be time.
A really good horror movie that came out called. Oh man, what is it? Is it starts with an R?
Randy Man.
Oh, it's really good. It's really good. It's like I've never seen anything like that before, and it was really neat and fun. Can't remember what it's called. Malignant. Look it up. I can't even.
Yeah. It's on
about it without.
It's on HBO.
Yeah, go watch it. It's really creepy and stupid. If you like that kind of. It's unexpected.
Just really... like my uncle Bill.
Yeah, people were making jokes about that one movie. What's his name? What's that movie? Freddy Got Fingered. That whole movie. The Backwards Man.
Oh, Tom Green. Yeah.
Yeah.
At any rate,
listen to my hooves.
This just in. It wasn't important. They just knocked like it was important.
It was the police?
No, it was just a package. They just dropped it off. I'm like, why did they knock like...
That's nice of them. I don't know the police deliver packages.
Anyways, what were we talking about? Video games? In all seriousness, there are video games we want to talk about, right? What are you guys excited for?
None of movies, and there was no movies.
Yeah, the movie minute was very short.
Wait, no, I've been watching. I heard something about horror. I've been making my way through the Nightmare on Elm Street films, and I saw them as kids. Most of them, but like I only remember scenes from them, so it's nice to go back and see like, oh yeah, I remember Freddy Snake. That's when the graphics got really good. You know what I mean? Like so.
I don't know. We recently did that too. Make sure you watch the terrible remake.
Oh, I don't know about that. I definitely heard.
I've never watched a Halloween movie, the series Halloween, and now it's on our list of things to watch. So that we could watch
the new one,
Jamie Lee Curtis,
wait,
in her 60s, do the same thing that she's been doing for like. I have to know how she's still alive. She's been in so many of them. Is she Michael Myers? Right? Does she put on some big boots and just go around killing people and then be like, "Oh no, he's gonna kill me"? That's what it feels like from an outsider looking in.
I can't say I've seen. I've definitely seen a Halloween or two. The first one.
If you're gonna
have you?
Are you gonna watch Freddy vs. Jason? Because you gotta watch the Friday the 13th.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah,
it probably won't make it by Halloween, but it'll get there eventually.
By Thanksgiving, at least.
What video games are you guys looking forward to? There's always something coming out.
Yeah, is there though?
Not
for a long time.
Final Fantasy 14 Endwalker. Obviously, I think Bunny and I will be playing that.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 14 Moonwalker.
Yeah.
Actually, that's about it. No, there's I just so happened to put together a list.
There's stuff coming out in February, but like that's.
Any of you played that Jurassic Park Evolution, the first one? Because there's a sequel coming out November 9th.
Played a little bit of it.
I beat it. I was like, I didn't need to beat it because you kind of get because there's
you get the hang of it after the first one,
and like some of the DLC was fun, but yeah. So it's more of that, I guess. Except I guess now you can customize your coffee shops a little bit more. Monster Hunter Rise, coming to PC January 12th. That was a Switch exclusive, but now played at 4K, 60 frames a second, or 120, whatever your refresh rate is. You got that open worlds or quasi open world Pokemon game coming out on January 28th. Pokemon Legends.
Cool.
I skipped a game. What is it? Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. Doesn't look great to me.
But it really doesn't. And like I feel like there was like a little bit of buzz, like it's gonna play like BioShock, and every time I see it, I'm just like, this looks awful. This looks terrible. Looks like no fun at all. Like all the combat I've seen. What's up?
He's like BioShock, really?
I mean, not BioShock. Mass Effect. Sorry.
Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, it looks like it looks like it's the Avengers game that they came out with. That was kind of like, okay, well, the story was like what 9 hours, and then like it was okay, but
kinda.
But I don't know.
Like it's not fun. That's not fun. I don't like online smashing games. Like just like buy new skins. Every week.
That's the thing.
Like I hate that. That's what this game feels like. Like in the trailer, they're like, "And look how many skins you get. Like this skin, this skin, this skin, this skin. Like you could have so many of them if you just pay a little bit more money." So
it's definitely a grind, and you're like, that's not a fun multiplayer experience.
Yeah. I'll wait for my Spider-Man 2 and Wolverine, done by a studio that actually cares about stories and gameplay. Yeah. But that's pretty much it. Like that's all I have to look forward to. Horizon Zero Dawn and God of War Ragnarok.
Horizon Forbidden West.
Oh yes, that's
but
right.
you can play Horizon Zero Dawn in 60 frames on your PlayStation 5.
That's right.
If you have one of those, and then
I mean that's all I've been doing is like
playing older.
I replayed God of War, which was like a treat. What a treat! Because it's like everything that's gonna happen in Ragnarok. They're like, and this is gonna happen, and this is gonna happen, and make sure that you know that Ragnarok, this is gonna happen. You're like, oh wow, let's look forward to.
Yeah, it was really good. I like because I'm also like playing games that have really good stories because I mean it's just another form of like I don't know watching a movie except spread out over the course of 60 hours or so.
Yeah, and it's got. I mean, the mythology in that was amazing. Just like being able to take the rowboat and like listen to the stories, like from Mimir, like that was awesome. Yeah. I love that kind of stuff. It helps my Jeopardy knowledge.
It's got a cool twist too. It has several twists, and I liked all of them. I was like, this is great. Yeah. This is like it's not fan service, but you know what I mean. Like it's like you can tell they cared about everything.
Agreed. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm just looking for people who care about telling.
I know Rockstar's got the. They haven't announced what it entails. The definitive, like, are they gonna? Because I'd play Vice City again. I played enough San Andreas, but I haven't. I only played Vice City once, and I'm like,
I've been waiting for them to remaster San Andreas. I haven't gone back to it since like PlayStation 3 or whatever, PlayStation 2 or whatever came out. Like I've been waiting for them to do this. I don't know why. I'm just like.
I just hope that I know it's obviously not a remake, so it's not going to be like, wow, it looks amazing in the new engine. But yeah. They got to have something like new, right? I don't know what though. If it's just kind of like high resolution, I'm like, I played it on PC back in the day. It already looked fine back then. I guess.
Yeah, my interest is peaked, but I'm not not giving up all hope.
Yeah, who knows? It seems like they announced it because all the leaks. Like kind of announced it ahead of time.
Well, also because everyone was so disappointed in Grand Theft Auto 5, 4, 4, 5. Can they come out with it 5 times and then it'll be actually Grand Theft Auto 5? Like five times 5, 10.
It's like a delay on a thing that is just on the new consoles, and we're like, the delay on our 10th release of this game. But at any rate, there's other. Yeah, that's pretty much what I is on my radar, but I'm not like super excited. Maybe,
Y'all played a little Diablo, or?
I played a little bit.
I mean, but you're not able to. The servers have been down for the last week or so. Really? Like, or they're just consistently like down.
Have you played the new PS Plus games? The like All Hell Let Loose or It's a really cool World War II game, but like it's like the biggest possible maps you could possibly think of. So it's like you respawn, you're like, all right, good. I've got 15 minutes of jogging through this field before I get to this house where I'm gonna get sniped. It looks so cool. It looks so cool. Yeah, it's like a really gorgeous game, and I wish that more people would play. Although it's online only, but I wish more people would play it because the maps are so big and it's so like just feels very World War II-y.
World War II-y.
Yeah, I mean, look, once you play it, you'll be like, wow, this feels very World War II-y. I don't know what it is.
So Game Zone, I think, should we get down into Steam Power Draft stuff? Usually we just get it out in the front, but we kind of did the reverse this time. We can get to the Bennettarium questions that come on behalf of our patrons. Our $10 patrons are able to submit those questions every month. But what are some updates on what we're working on? So since the last podcast, we released a new music video, "Bad Days on the Horizon," off of our 1896 album that came out last year, and we're releasing the music videos after the album because of the pandemic and stuff. That wasn't the original plan, but that's just how it goes when the world gets kind of... Wait, I say last year. It was actually the year before. Wasn't it? No. It was last year.
Last
November, yeah. So that's...
Well, it's almost like a year coming up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Which I guess is a good thing to announce. And we all already talked about this months ago, so I hope it's not news to any of you guys. But but let's judge the reaction. On the anniversary of the 1896 release, the acoustic tracks found on the CD version of the album and the digital version of that will go up on Spotify and streaming services. So you can still support us by buying the album, of course, anytime, even after you listen to it on Spotify. But those tracks that were exclusive to people who bought the album will now be available on streaming services, which is essentially free if you're listening to the ads. So thank you for your support in supporting us. We don't like to hold things hostage, but we figure the acoustic tracks aren't like what everyone's after anyways. But there's some real nice gems in there, I think. Some different, some are straight up like, this is what the song would sound like with an acoustic guitar, and some are like reimaginings, played at different tempos, even some in different keys. So, and if you can't wait to listen to some of those, go to our YouTube, because we have a sampler video that you can search for, and there's also like the full performance of Hot on the Trail. There's that acoustic version. It's actually a music video. Anything else? What else are you thinking about? We're working on stuff. We're working on lots of stuff. The patrons are a little more in the know of what we're sort of working towards. It's hard to remember what we have talked about and what we are keeping secret, but obviously new music is on the horizon. More music videos for 1896. We're gonna polish those off eventually. It'll probably take us into next year. I imagine it would. And yeah, we'll of course release new songs and whatnot, and hopefully we'll be talking about newer projects on the horizon, but expect new songs. And hey, we recently, it's been maybe a month or two, but we have a TikTok now, and we've been throwing some videos up there, old music videos and some new ones, just, little social media-y kind of videos for TikTok. They're also on our YouTube, so you don't have to go to our TikTok, but find us on TikTok. I think our username is Steam powered giraffe. I think that's what it is. But if you search Steam Powered Giraffe, it's the account that we didn't get locked out of. There's like two accounts, and they both look official, but one of them has like one video, and we weren't able to log back into it because it was I don't even know why I'm saying this, but because back in the day you were able to sign up with TikTok through Instagram, but then they removed that feature, so if you didn't change your password, you can't get in. It's a weird, unless you contacted them within a certain amount of time or something weird like that. Anyway, let's get to these questions. Now, Chelsea Paniak sometimes judges for the Bennettarium, but just because of the way the time has worked out, she's at work today, her other job, bringing home the bread, making ends meet. It's expensive out here living in anywhere. Okay, I'm gonna go down this list. Unless anyone else has other Steam Powered Draft updates that I missed talking about.
No, and or a book of questions. I've got plenty of books in front of me. I don't think any of them have questions in them. So,
okay. Glub asks, this is for Bunny and David. What is it like to have a twin sister/brother? And then there's another one for you, Brian. But let's answer that one. It's relevant to have two questions. So, what is it like?
It's just like having a really close sibling that
I guess we don't know what it's like to have a non-twin sibling. So I think it's all relative.
Definitely we were like best friends like growing up and stuff, because like we're just same age, like there's that twin bond. But I don't know, it's like having any sibling. And so as you get older too, maybe when you were younger.
Yeah, because I mean, even when you're when you're little, 4 years or 2 years, it's a big difference when you're growing up. But as you get older, it's like, well, it's not. I mean, you can still be the older brother / sister or whatever. But
most people know you as the Bennetts. You don't have individual identity when you're a kid.
I would say,
oh yeah, the two twins.
But I think that's what we knew. I think we've encountered other twins in our times, and any other twin, it's the same thing. Like I think all twins want to be separate in some way because they want to be known as differently. And that twin wears glasses, that one doesn't. But like, it's the same thing with us. Like we're always known as the Bennetts, and it's weird because it's like, well, I guess even if we weren't twins, or like maybe if we were fraternal twins or something like that, like, and we were still in the same grade, people would probably say the same thing. But it's kind of that weird, like, well, we're two different people, and it does. I guess it just it's that feeling of like you're not even tied to another person. You're tied to this idea of two people.
But you also work together. So like I've got the Wheeler brothers, who are a group of, it's a bass player and a drummer, and then I've also got the Dungeon Masters, who are it's a bass player, keyboard player. So I always call them by their group name because I consistently see them. Yeah. But then my friend Paul and Mike Dickover, who I was friends with in high school, I consistently call them by their individual names. I don't have I never say the Dickover. Sorry. So there is something to the fact that you work together. Sure, I mean, unit.
Yeah,
that kind of pushes that out.
Back in the day,
I'm sure like the general public.
Well, yeah. Well, like when we're growing up and stuff, I like talking on like playground or high school and stuff. We weren't always doing the same thing together. I mean, we did eventually go into theater, but anyways, I think that's the standout thing I would say for being a twin or having a sibling who's the same age as you. Pretty expensive for parents, I imagine, because everything at twice.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Well, it's expensive, but it's also like you're sharing your birthday, you're sharing everything, and most presents are like, here's a group thing, and that's not whatever. I mean, we're grateful for whatever we have, of course, when growing up, but like that is another thing. I'm sure people who have like a birthday in December also feel like, well, I probably could get more.
Christmas, come on, nonsense.
Anyways.
My entire family, you mean? Like, come December, I'm just like the brokest human being like every year.
And so, and this is a follow-up question for Brian. Do you wish you had a twin brother or sister?
Oh my God, no! Can you imagine like two of me running around? Like that's too much. I would be upset with me. Yeah,
in that universe, your twin would probably have joined because you'd be like, "Oh, it's like two sets of twins. It's the perfect act."
We'd just be like,
it could be a duo, and then just like the two twins switch out, and you never know which one is.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose there's always benefits to this. I mean, our situation, obviously, with our voices being similar, so they naturally harmonize pretty well. But we sound different. That it's not like it's just me double tracking myself. I don't think we sound that way, but it sounds like unique enough that. Yeah. So
I think the having somebody who like you're exactly the same ages and like grew up with, like I feel like there's probably when you're kids, especially like a way deeper connection in comparison to like me and my brother who's like 2.5 years older than me. So it's like night and day. I just went around and got taken advantage of every day of my life because he's got 2.5 years ahead of me, and then my cousins the same thing. They're all a lot older than me. So, like, I think having somebody like that would have maybe feel less alone. Yeah. But like, other than that, like, I couldn't imagine like there being another loud ass me.
Dylan asks, let's see. Oh, this is for David. What guitars do you use for shows and recording? Is there a reason you choose to use those guitars instead of anything else? And what would your dream ideal guitar be? Well, I'm definitely not a machine head. I'm a gearhead. That's right. I'm not. I mean, I am on a technical level, but I'm not someone who will ever collect guitars. It's not me. I don't care. I can appreciate nice things, but I'll be like, oh, that looks nice, and then I'll walk away. I don't obsess over things like that. It means nothing to me. But the guitars that we use on stage, I have gone through quite a few. So When we started out, I used a PR5, which is a very cheap Epiphone, which is a brand of Gibson, because it's what I practiced on. It's what I just don't remember words. It's what I practiced on when I was a kid learning guitar. I was like, I never really got too much into it until high school. But that was like my dad's guitar, and it was more expensive back when he bought it in probably the 90s. But then when I like was buying my own guitar, I was like, oh, they make this one now, but it's a lot cheaper because it's, that's what that kind of Epiphone turned into for some of these stuff. Yeah. So I use that for steam powered giraffe all the time, shows and stuff. And it worked out well because because they would break if we were in the hot sun for too long. Bam, like, the whole bridge would come off sometimes in the saddle and stuff. It was like only twice in the whole time. But when you're out there in pretty hot weather and you're performing for a long time, probably good not to have because we're in direct sunlight and stuff sometimes. So it held up pretty well, and I did glue stuff back together. But like back then, we didn't have any money. You're like, how am I going to get $200 to replace a guitar? You know what I mean? Like that's the kind of. But since then, we invested in more guitars that look similar but sound better and better quality. But for the stage show, we stopped using acoustic guitars because feedback issues. Like we use for our stage shows, or we did before the pandemic, with IEMs and stuff. We kind of got rid of on-stage monitors, and so the only issue that we had to deal with sound feedback was from acoustic guitar, and it wasn't terrible. It was just one of those extra things that you're like, how do I get rid of this? Plus it it has a distinct sound. So what I use now is I'm going to forget the names of these. I believe it's an A16 by, blanking on names, by Godin. So a Canadian guitar company. And it's, most acoustic guitars can be plugged in because they're an acoustic electric. They're an acoustic guitar, but they have an electric pickup somewhere under the saddle or so. And that's how you would plug it in to be able to hear, unless you were going to mic it or something. But this, and I think it's the Godin A16. I think that's what it's called. I might be messing up the word. It's an electric acoustic, so it looks like an electric guitar, but it can sound like an acoustic. And it's slightly hollow inside, kind of like an archtop guitar, but it's not an archtop guitar. It's kind of, and I've seen other companies come out with them, but like I think Gibson does have one now, but I'm like looking at it, I'm like, this is expensive. I'm paying for that. And the Godin ones are like, more expensive than like entry level guitars, but they're like, they're the right price for if it breaks, it's not the end of the world. You know what I mean? That's because we have had expensive guitars, and you're like, well, I never want to play it because we're never going to be able to replace it. So, anyways, and in between there, I've tried out some archtop guitars. I had a Godin Fifth Avenue, which is an archtop guitar, and I used that for a while, which definitely helped with feedback and stuff. But as far as like recreating a signal that you can send out on a stage, obviously nothing's going to sound better than an acoustic guitar that's mic'd. But that's just not always possible, and it's a lot of setup, and there's a lot of like feedback stuff. We're moving around on stage. I'm changing spots on stage. Like it was possible, but and then also some songs the acoustic guitar is just not the right instrument for.
Sound or feel.
I mean, you can do anything on a live show, so of course we made use of it. And also we didn't want to carry multiple guitars. I mean, that's an extra $50 to $150. I mean, I'm thinking back in the day, it's probably more expensive now. $150 extra in your flight to take another guitar with you. So on top of all the other equipment. So, and it only gets more expensive the more equipment you have. So one guitar that can play multiple roles, and that's what we did too on stage. Like when Sam was in the band and he played electric guitar, we would both share that same guitar because like we don't need to take a separate guitar. We need the bass, the guitar that it serves its purpose, multiple purposes. He can switch some dials and bam, it's an electric guitar. So there you go. I think I talked enough about that. That was like one of the super relevant questions. And I don't have a dream ideal guitar. I guess one that folds up and you don't have to have a big case, because if I could just put it on my carry-on, sure. You know what I mean? Because it's a hassle to carry a bunch of equipment to shows and stuff. For sure. Especially when you're us small and we're not shipping stuff out for one show. We're actually taking it on the plane with us. So, yeah. But those guitars are, they're just not they're expensive and they're like very prototypey, and the ones that can disassemble and stuff. And it's just kind of like at that point you're like, well, if you're spending that much money, you might as well just pay for the air.
Right.
Anyways, so great question. I think so. This next one comes from Cinder 77. This one's for David and Bunny again. What did you think when fanbots were first being made? And since I talked so much about that, Bunny, I'll let you.
Yeah, I mean, it's always really, it blew my mind the first time we saw people like dressing up to our concerts and stuff, and like we knew that like people were super creative that were like finding our band, and like it's great to have that avenue for them to just express themselves and also like be a part of the show a little bit, you know. It's great because like it's definitely turned our shows into, it's almost expected that you dress up, even if you're not being a robot. You know, everyone's having a good time and wearing their favorite things, and it's just a nice accepting atmosphere, and it's really what's the word, flattering.
yeah, that's what I would say when I remember the first few people who did it and stuff, and it's one of those, no matter what, it was going to happen organically anyways because of our costumes and stuff. It's just when did it make sense? And we didn't see too many people do it when it was like when we were performing at Balboa Park. I want to say we did, but you know, it was at that point where like the people doing it were trying to be very conscious of like not pretending they were the band and trying to like tell people like, oh no, we're just fans of the band, because you know, it's like you see anyone in makeup, you're like, oh, they must be performers, especially if you're out in Balboa Park. So that's one of those things that like if you think about it now, it'd be like, wow, you could never have control over that. But back then, you know, we had I guess people that were a little more respectable about it, so who were doing it. But at our shows, when we finally started doing actual shows outside of Balboa Park, it was almost like immediate, you know, like people wanted to dress up. And I think we always imagined maybe that would be a thing. We just, you know, our idea of what that would be, I don't think we really knew it, other than it's like, well, obviously I want to be robots. So I don't know who. I mean, I think, you know, fanbot and stuff. I think but
it's not just robots either. It's OC characters. It's basically that people dress up as their OCs, and they might do like a steampunk take on them, or they made their own character that exists in our universe. So it's who might be the fans of these singing robots, and like that's the fans that's what they get to decide.
Do you think there's like a argument like in New York over the original pizza? Like someone like the fans like, I was the original fan, but I was like, nah, I was the original fan.
We know who the original one is.
Jersey's.
The original one.
We know the person.
Don't ruin the argument then. So let it ride.
We know the first person
Take
because
it
was obvious, like, and they technically coined it, but it's one of those that I think people were going to coin it no matter what. Like it was pretty obvious, you know. It wasn't like it was it stems from things before us, you know what I mean? Like we didn't invent dressing up to go to a concert.
Yeah.
There's lots of things.
It stems from the Insane Clown Posse. Yeah. You ever heard of them?
Well, a lot of anime people too, like, you know, conventions and stuff. There's just a lot of that stuff.
It was a good time for that too, because I feel like it was like the time when people were starting to really dress up for conventions. Like I know they always have, but like it felt more popular at that time.
Totally.
Yeah, we fit in definitely for that area. Okay, here's a question for Brian from Sketch. If Zero hadn't gotten big from Zero's house, this is a lore question, how else would he have gotten his fame?
How else would he have gotten his fame? I don't know.
So Zero's house is the fake
is a TV show
that Zero had that we just make fun of on stage.
It's not a fake TV show. It's an amazing TV show.
We need to record that theme song one day.
Probably from like saving a child from a well or something like that. Like I don't know.
I mean, you're a robot with like superpowers or whatever.
Yeah, but he didn't mean to. Like he did something really heroic that he didn't mean to do. You know, just like happened to be like next to a bank and stop a bank robbery, but he really just wanted like a hug from somebody, and he squeezed the bank robbers really hard, and they cracked in half, and everyone called him a hero. That's probably how these big things.
Retrieve a stray ball down a well, but it saves a kid instead.
Yeah, there's a child down there, but I was just trying to steal everyone's wishes or something.
They're like, thank you for murdering these bank robbers, Zero. Here's
welcome.
Here's the key to the city.
Wow.
You know, I can just take them.
No? Okay.
You mean I can just take all the money that's in this giant door that this key opens?
Just like breaking right through, like there's, his arm goes right through the vault, takes whatever money there is.
Oh, the hijinks. Zero would be.
So here's another question. This one's from Bat Boy. Nope, they want to be referred to as Sunday. Sorry, it was the way it was formatted. I got confused. And I skipped a question accidentally. Oh, that was my thumb, and I'll go back and do it. But anyways, for the entire band, how many song-related gifts have you received since the band has started? Example, toasters, toilet paper, etc. Well, we've definitely gotten toasters and toilet paper. And mayonnaise and Captain Crunch. Pretty much we've gotten a gift for every bit that we've said over the course of 13 years.
Yeah. I mean, not even like bits and songs. Like there's been bits that we've done on stage, and then by the end of the day, there's a gift for that bit that I totally forgot about that we said, but it was there, and now it's
talking about Captain Crunch, and then we'll get like a box of Captain Crunch. That's like, then he's like, oh, okay, so we say something about Lamborghinis, we'll get Lamborghinis.
No, they gave us.
They gave us
like micro machines, yeah. Hot Wheels.
I said something about a yellow brick at Disneyland, a yellow Lego brick at Disneyland, and then by the not even by the end of the show, by the intermission we had, there was a yellow brick in my hand, a yellow Lego brick. I was like, oh, well, that's nice.
It's
I don't know what to do with it.
It's been happening since like day one too. Like right in Balboa Park, like people were ready for this. They were like, I can't wait to just interact with these people.
Well, you have fans with deep pockets. Yeah. Deep pockets full of trinkets.
But it was kind of one of those. The amount of toilet paper that I got because of the Spine song, and it's just like, I have to be like, like ha ha ha. But you know what I mean? Like after it got old the first time.
Yeah, but did you save it? That saves you some money, I bet. How much money do you think you saved on toilet paper?
But we didn't take it back with us because it probably got left in our hotel room because, we have so much else to pack up. So that's another thing. Like, besides gifts that are related to our band, we've also, I don't know why, but this one show in Texas, people just gave us all these giant stuffed animals. And we're like, we can't take these back with us. Like we have to sell more merch or something because we don't have room. And you know what I mean? Like it was so much that we had to let the hotel know. Like we put them all in a bed and we're like, is there any way you can donate these? And they were fine. They were like, maybe someone took them or something, but it was just one of those, like, what were we supposed to do?
I think whoever was cleaning my room, I said, do you want this? Like, it's just, I don't have room for it. And then I think they took it, but I don't know if they actually did, but.
Yeah, we had we started a pile on our with from other. It was, I don't know what it was, but maybe it was like like fans got together and
I've taken some stuffed animals, like smaller ones. I've been able to take back.
Every once in a while.
Yeah, some of those big ones like
with this is a good segue for this question is for just so we could state this is the best gifts are digital, email, because after a while, like our PO box fills up. We don't have much space. Like I have roommates. Like we don't have storage. This is our merchandise, and it's as compact as it can possibly be. Yeah, but when we were doing the zoo, we got a lot of physical mail because we encouraged it, and I think we were like, send us mail, and we would put up the mail on this wall in our dressing room. It was a little. You've worked at the zoo. Brian, it's not really a dressing room. It's like
it's a trailer. It's a trailer with a futon.
And it was like so hot. We didn't have a futon. We had to like put.
Oh, I got a futon and an AC. Woohoo! Then I got demoted. I have nothing now. So
okay.
It's fine. I don't even work there anymore. But like by the time I stopped working there, I had nothing. I got so demoted. I was like, what's going on? You took my trailer, took my air conditioner. Now I gotta walk up this hill and carry all my stuff.
Yeah, it was hot. We didn't have an air conditioner too. Maybe they put it in at. No, it was hot. It was just like it was stupid. It was. But anyways, we would put it up on the wall in there, like when people gave it to us, and then, we would just say, okay, we're gonna throw these away because we have more to put up, and we did start saving some of them, and we just had a closet when Bunny and I lived together that and it just got so full, and we started scrapbooking them, but even that we couldn't keep up with, like because you have to imagine after 13 years, and even when we stopped doing it, it hadn't been 13 years, it was just like after a certain point, it's just like, well, we don't. we don't have
Where
the
we store these.
realistically
Yeah,
we don't have the logistics to store this stuff. Yeah.
But you know, like it's a testament to how much your fans love us, and it always feels really good to see that, you know, you're making these connections with people through the music. It's lovely.
But if you do send us something physical, there's a high chance that we will not be able to store it for very long.
Unless it's like really cool.
Yeah, I mean, we had like we had a painting someone did of like the 3 robots, like the original, like
that hung up in the office for a while.
Yeah, office, our apartment, living room, and but yeah, after a certain point, like it was like, well, we're not keeping this anymore.
Didn't we raffle it off or something? I think we might have.
Maybe at one of the Queen Bee shows or something.
Yeah, I don't remember.
It's been a while with that stuff.
It's a log.
Okay, here is another question from LaFay, and this is for the whole band. What advice would you give to an aspiring writer/artist struggling to find the motivation to finish a project and feels like they have hit a plateau?
Just push through it. Honestly, like, it's a difficult thing to kind of find a spark, and you can sit around and wait for months and months and months and months until something kind of inspires you. But at some point, you have to just sit through and just hunker down and do it. Like, just take 2 hours, an hour. There we go. An hour will be too much probably, but at least like set aside an hour to be like, all right, I'm just gonna write stuff, even if it's bad stuff. So at least you have something down, and maybe that alone might spark you to be like, all right, whoa, oh, that's it. That's what I needed, and then you could hit it from there. But you kind of got to force it if it's not coming to you, because good chance that it won't. You know.
Oh no, yeah. So you got starting is the hardest part. Starting is the hardest part.
I'll steal a quote. I'll steal a quote, and this is attributed to a bunch of different people. So, and I'm probably misquoting it too. But like, I don't enjoy writing. I enjoy having wrote or written. And that's true.
Great.
That works for everything. It's like, absolutely, like the finished product is great. But you know what? The most enjoyable parts are those moments when things are just clicking and it's coming together. But with that said,
the process. Fall in love with the process.
Yeah, but the process is not always fun. And
no, but
it's like getting used to doing it and failing, because like I was recording stuff this week, and like and I was like, and 4 hours down because I was like, I'm doing a bunch of stuff, and I was like, well, that was all dog shit, and then I move on, and next day I come to it, and it's a completely different thing.
To let that happen.
If you can't come back with a fresh pair of eyes, then it's probably too soon. But if that anxiety of like coming back to it is too much, then you probably should come back to it, because it's like I can do like 2 days in a row of like really like mashing my head against a song or recordings or voices and vocals and stuff and not be happy with it. But like, then I'll come back and I'll find those gems in there that I'm like, oh yeah, this. And then when it works, it'll be like, I'll put stuff down and then bam, 8 hours will go by and I'll be like, oh, I guess I'm into it now. But that's not all the time. It's just, the only way you're going to get to that mode is if you're putting yourself in those uncomfortable situations of banging your head up against the wall.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just don't force it. Like, if you're fatigued because you can't stop working on something because you're so excited, that's good. But also limit yourself there too. But definitely do the minimum, because I think that's the only way you're going to get to that moments of clarity sometimes. And that's not with everything. Some projects are just going to be dog shit.
True.
And then this is those. Okay, imagine your steam powered draft and you have a following of some sort. You're going to make things that you don't think are good and people are going to say are amazing, and then you're going to make things that you think are so great and you're so proud of it, and no one's going to give a shit. And that's just being an artist, as from my point of view, anyways. And that's just 13 years of steam powered draft and seeing what people like. It's like, because for one thing, we're making stuff in a group, so it's like not every one thing is just a mine. Like there's so many different factors playing into it that makes it unique and special, and we can't pretend to know the algorithm of what people like, and you shouldn't either, because we weren't like sitting there thinking about steam powered draft when the band first started. We just did what we liked, and some people resonated with Honeybee, but other people resonate with all our other songs. But that's kind of like every band, if you're thinking about it in band mentality. Every band has that one song that people love, and everyone says their other shit sucks. And that's just how it goes. Like, I wish they would do more of this, and I'm like, well, we did. You just didn't like it, which is fine. Let the artist be the artist. Anyways, anything more to add on that one? That's a pretty nice question. Aspiring writer. Hope you have some nice rights in the future, LaFay. Is that what they say to writers?
Keep up that rights. Keep up them rights.
I'm going to save 2 of these questions for next month because I've already asked, I've already had 2 of these already from these people. So the last question for the stream will be from Ghost Grinder. And this is for everyone. Wimmy Bam. I always wondered what the spine was saying in brass goggles, and someone on Discord says this is what it is. Can you tell me the story of Wimmy Bam? Or no, actually, I think they spelt it Whippy Bam. Whippy Bam.
Whippy Bam. Yes, it has quite an origin story.
No one can explain Whippy Bam. It's just, it is and always was. Ancient words.
We were doing an improv class, and Brian was Harry Potter, and he had like a wand, and that was his magical word. Wimmy Bam!
Wimmy Bam! Wimmy Bam!
And we thought it was so hilarious, and then we added it into our song as like an homage.
And this is Brian wasn't in the band when we did that.
It sure wasn't.
It was just we were like, we're stealing that. I mean, as historically, I can't go down that road.
You told me about it.
Let me go down that road. So another case of a white person stealing from but yeah, no, he said, "Hey, Brian, we stole this from you." No.
It's just like it's just a tag like in a song too. Like that's the best thing about it is like it's not like a song lyric.
I know,
kind of in the back, but it is a very fun thing to say and do. And next time you have a magic wand, give it a whip because it is a blast.
I mean, it all came full circle because now you get to say it live.
I do. Well, sometimes you say it because
I forget.
You said it for 13 years.
Because I'm like, well, hold on, I think I can say it a little better. No.
Does the audience usually shout it? I can never hear usually, but like I wouldn't be surprised if they all say Wimmy Bam.
I have to look for it. Well, it's so difficult to see, but I'll have to look for it.
Honestly, it's been so long, I don't even remember where it is in the song. It's been so long. It's been more than a year since we performed it.
Yeah.
Anyways, I look forward to Brian saying that in 2025 when we have another show. Okay, I think
Alzheimer's.
That's it for the. That's it for the questions for this month, and the other ones that are in there, we'll roll over to next month. I mean, that December. Yeah. So
every other month.
I know we haven't really.
Well, that's how you say it. You don't say bi-monthly. You say every other month. That makes more sense.
Then there's no like questioning it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because I thought it was bi-monthly.
I'm glad we answered that question from the very first moment of this. Right now,
we haven't really talked about the state of the world and stuff in a while. I don't know if there's much to talk about because it's been a constant barrage since.
Yeah,
it's like so we've kind of you get hammered with it enough that you're like, well, it's not that we're not aware of it. It's just maybe we don't want to make the Bennettarium about that.
True, but well, if it's just us complaining about things and not having a solution, then it's like, well, all right, well, we've done that daily for the past.
We're here to make things maybe get a little real now and again, but still, we're here to entertain you.
But there's plenty of things to be outraged about going on in the world, and sometimes I'll post it on my social media. Lets me know who I can block from my page or Twitter.
That is a nice thing about it. You're right.
I'm like, I don't need to engage in conversation with people. I ain't gonna convince anyone. Like, well, because it's not like if you're using your platform for good quote unquote, calling out hate when you see it or something like that's fine, but I'm not going to give people a time of day. I don't know. No one really has to do that.
I can't anymore. Just don't have the time or the effort, the energy.
Yeah.
You just gotta cut them out.
Yep.
And it's
fine. They don't have to listen to Steve Hard Draft. I'll always feel bad, like if someone's actually their feelings are hurt, but I just hope they know it's like, well, it's because you're an anti-vaxxer. It's because you support they're the wrong things. You know, you're on the wrong side of history. Like it's never personal. I mean, I guess it is, but it's not. I don't know you as a person. It's just like,
is it?
Like there's no if you
a lot of times it is.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
No, but
That's the problem.
It's nothing personal. Like, you know, I try to see it as like, well, I understand people have feelings and stuff, and I know I have like talked to someone before, and I was like, why did you block my friend? And I said, hey, look, they're a big Trump supporter. I'm not gonna have that conversation with them, so that's why I blocked them. And then they were apologetic, and it's like, I guess I can't explain that to every single person I block. I don't block too many people, but you know what I mean? Like, that's one of those weird things. Like, well, we're not big enough to like, well, I don't know. I guess if you're big enough, you can just block anyone you want. And
I mean, at this point, anti-vaxxers, it goes against every grain, moral fibers.
And if you don't want to be blocked on social media, not that it happens too much on my end, like, you know, just don't say anything.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that thing is a big issue right now, but it's still like, hopefully everyone's getting vaccinated who can and staying safe, because it's still an issue. And yeah, unfortunately, it might save your life, but it's definitely going to save other people's lives. And that's the main thing is like, if you're not willing to do that, well, then you're saying everything people need to know about how you think of other people.
No.
So I guess there was a little bit of real there at the end of the Bennettarium.
Just handle your shit. Handle your shit. And look out for other people. It's a pandemic for a reason. I mean, it's worldwide. All right? So let's all look out for each other and move forward. But, man,
get Steam Powered Giraffe performance.
Yo, that's the other thing. Like, do you want people to work? Like, the people complaining, these are the same people who like just are complaining about everything else. Like, people not going back to work and stuff like that. He's like, you are holding that line up. Like, I have to get tested twice a week. As well as like, you know, all the precautions that we have up in there, even though I'm vaccinated and all this other stuff, like so many hoops that we got to jump through because nobody wants to jump in and everyone get vaccinated, but whatever. Anyways,
it's I mean, in some positive news, like they're hoping, and they collectively, scientists, doctors, I don't know, medical professionals, that, you know, October we're supposed to see a decline, and like the spike that had just happened is supposed to be like was anticipated, and that maybe that's supposed to be the end of that. But, you know, we're obviously shooting ourselves in the foot with all the people who aren't. I mean, more deaths from COVID this year than last year. That's got to say something to someone somewhere.
It doesn't.
But people who are vaccinated aren't dying. So that's
truth.
That data is definitely. So yeah, get your boosters if you got Pfizer when you're eligible. 6 months after that, if you're in an environment, I'm sure it'll open.
Just be smart, wear a mask, be considerate, all that jazz. You know, good stuff.
Okay. Do we have an outro song? Or I'm not gonna get the guitarist because no one can sing.
It's a podcast from Steam Powered Giraffe.
Is it a podcast?
Yes, it's a podcast.
Are we on Brian's beat?
I'm trying not to snap, but also I'm snapping.
Okay.
It's the Bennettarium. Oh Lord. We've got life advice for you. A lot of Q&As answered successfully, I might add, I hope. If our answers weren't good enough, oh well. Oh boy, it's the Bennettarium.
And now it's done.
Yeah.
That's the end of the Bennettarium.
Thanks for joining us on... remember that one episode we had where we were all in person and we were like, this is like good days are back. Remember that one time?
Yo. A bunch of fools. Look at us now.
No, it was good. It didn't happen until after that. The world was like, for that moment, it was like people were safe. So.
You know, yeah, we were all vaccinated and we were feeling good. And
but the band will obviously... We'll do something together and we'll plan it and we'll make sure everyone's safe. But in the future, we'll do something like that, an acoustic show, something like that. But because we don't know what's going to go, how things are going to progress right now. But
yeah,
we're not calling it quits or nothing.
we can figure something out in the future, and hopefully we don't have to. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
We don't have to figure something out, but if we have to, we can. There's enough things we can kind of do.
Yeah. I mean, we already do it in other jobs / friends, family to get things going. It's just we're not doing it with Steam Powered Draft because it's like it's too much extra work we technically don't have to do. So we don't want to make it the priority, especially since we have other work we can be doing. So
sure can.
Anyways, thanks for joining us.
All right.
Thanks, y'all.